Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today's tutorial is this loop stitch Christmas tree. So this is a wall hanger. You can make it to hang on your door, however you want to make it or whatever you want to make it for. So the reason I ended up making this was because a good friend of mine sent me a picture of one that he had seen and asked if I would please remake it for him so he could do it. And here you go. So we have a little star at the top, all the way down, and then the tree stand. Let's talk about some measurements. So at the widest point, I'm not measuring the loops. This measures 13 inches across from the hanging loop to the very bottom is about 20 and a half inches. Yeah, about 20 and a half inches. All right, so let's get into what you're gonna need. So for my tree, I used, Walmart has these packs of pom-poms. Let's see, I think they're like $1.75, $1.50 a piece maybe. I'm not sure. I suggest getting 2 because we're going to pick through here and get all these little pom-poms out. So get 2 of those. And then for the tree, I used an entire skein. So make sure you're not using a scrap skein because this is what I have left after the entire tree. I used Red Heart Super Saver in Hunter Green. And then I used a here we go, a 5mm crochet hook. And then for the star at the top right there, I used a 3 lightweight sun yellow. So this is, I love this yarn, sport weight. I used that with a 3.25mm crochet hook. However, the reason I wanted to use that is because I wanted mine to be a little tighter than a 4mm, but I did make a star with a 4mm, and I showed it to my husband, and he said, the star on the tree looked just fine. So if you don't want to use a 3.25, or you don't have one, or a 3.5, you can go ahead and just use a 4mm. It'll be all right. So there's those. Get you a needle to weave in your end, scissors. You're going to need a hot glue gun to attach the pom-poms, the star, and then you're also going to need a little bit of red. So I just used my scrap Red Heart Super Saver in cherry red for the base at the bottom of the tree. Oops. And then let's see, what else? Anything else? I believe that is it. So this is going to be a longer tutorial because I try my best to give a very in-depth explanation of how to work this loop stitch. It's not the easiest in the world, and it does take a little bit to get the hang of it, but once you get the hang of it, this thing works up really quick. So it's a 2-row repeat to work our tree. Okay. So we're going to start at the wide part, and then eventually, we're decreasing, and then when you get to these smaller parts, it whips up really quick because, you're decreasing. Let's see, what else do I need to mention? So in the tutorial, I actually do not make the little swatch that I make. I actually don't use this Hunter Green because it is super hard to see on camera. So I'm using a Red Heart Super Saver Spring Green. Yeah, because this Hunter Green was way too dark to see on camera. And then also, I tell you, if you want to make this Christmas tree, we start with a chain of 47, all right? And then we work the pattern. However, you can make whatever size loop stitch that you want to just by chaining any odd number. So any odd number, then follow the pattern that I'm going to give you in the tutorial, and you can, make this tree however small or large you'd like to. So for instance, in the tutorial, I do a chain of 15, and you could even go smaller and make this a magnet, hot glue a magnet on the back, and it could be a Christmas magnet. Anyway, I believe that is everything I wanted to talk about. All right, let's get our supplies together and get started. Okay, finally I get a minute to film this. Like, this is my third time trying to film this between cats and kids and husbands. It's like, finally. All right, so to get started, we're going to get a slip knot on our hook. And like I said in the intro, this is just going to be my little sample piece. My larger piece I already have done. So if you want to make the larger tree, you're going to chain 47 and then follow the pattern that I'm getting ready to show you. And if you want to make this any size you want to, all you have to do is chain any odd number, okay? So for this little sample, I'm going to chain 15. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. All right, I've got to adjust my camera. Something is off just a tad. Okay, that's better. All right, so I got my chain of 15. So for row 1, we're going to single crochet into that second chain from our hook. So not the one right here, but this one right here. I'm going to single crochet. Single crochet right in there, and then single crochet into each of the remaining chains. So if you are making the large tree, you chained 47, single crochet in the second chain from hook, and then single crochet into all these remaining chains, and you should have 46 single crochets. And then for like my little piece, I'm going to have 14 single crochets. So you want to chain an odd number, work row 1, and then you're going to have an even number of single crochets. Just about there. My husband bought a spray bottle of catnip, like a little squirt bottle. And go ahead and single crochet into that last chain, and he sprayed it on a little cat toy, and they are going berserk. All right, so that is the end of row 1. So to move on to row 2, we're going to chain 1 and turn, and we're going to double crochet right into that very first single, just like that. And if you have a hard time finding your the first and last stitch of your row, go ahead and you can mark these, with a stitch marker. Okay, so we doubled into that very first single crochet, and then we're going to work 1 double into each single crochet all the way across. So still the same number that you had, and I am not going to make you guys watch me work all of these double crochets, so I'm going to get this done off camera, and I'll be right back. Okay, I made it across. I got my last single crochet right there, double crochet into there, and that is the end of row 2. So I'm going to chain 1 and turn, and this is the first row of our 2-row repeat, and it's the first row of our loop stitch. So for our loop stitch, if you hold your yarn any other way than this, I'm not 100% sure how to show you how to work this loop stitch. I think it'll end up having to be something that you might have to figure out on your own. The reason being is because to work our loop stitch, there's several different factors. The number one most important thing with this stitch is the uniformity of our loops, meaning all of our loops relatively the same length, right? And to do that, we've got several different parts of this stitch to keep it the same. So number one, It's where our loop is on our hook, right? So for my hook, it's really easy because I know I can use this, the stop where my, let me get this off, where the rubber meets or ends on my hook. From here to the tip is one point I am going to use as a measuring. And if you don't have the rubber or anything to identify or to use as a measurement, what I did was took a boy hook that I had laying around, and I just kind of, depending how big and you want your stitched is gonna depend where you are going to put your tape. So I like mine to be from the very tip of my hook, 1.5 inches down. Okay. Now you can try that. Try 1.5 inches down. If you don't like it, then just take the tape off and tape it somewhere else. All right. So that's one aspect of our way of measuring, to keep the loops the same length, right? So we have this. So one part, that's one part. The next part is that I measure it, make sure the loop on my hook is right where the rubber ends, right? And then I use the tip of my hook on my finger. So right now it's too long, right? Because it's not touching my finger. So I will readjust. See how this isn't to the tip of my rubber? So I'll pull it back a bit, and there we go. So I got this to the tip, it's on my finger. So this is the length that I'm going for. Trust me, once you get the hang of this and you've worked it a couple hundred times on this tree, you're going to get really good at it. Okay, so that's the first part. So the next part, we are going to start the actual stitch. So we're going to insert our hook into that very first double crochet. And I want you to have the hook part of your crochet hook facing you. And what we're going to do is set it on our working yarn. So this is actually, when we work a normal stitch, this is where, so like if we work a single crochet, we just grab this, right, and pull it through. But what we're going to do is actually just move it out of the way, and we're going to hook this part of our working yarn. We're going to hook this strand. Now here's the second part of our measuring. To consistently have the same length of our loop, we want to either, you can hook it at the bottom by this finger, or you can hook it at the top by this finger. So start this over again. I've got this length. Well, I've lost it over showing you guys this, which this isn't going to be exact every single time. It's going to be relatively the same. So I've got my length here, my fingers, it's touching here, it's right on my rubber here. So I'm going to insert, set my hook with the hook part facing me on the yarn, and just move it out of the way. And then when I swipe to grab this part, the part that I'm hitting right there with the tip of the hook, I can either go on this part and catch right here, or swipe it on my top finger, which I prefer to swipe it on my top finger. And I'm just gonna grab it and pull it through. Now I've got this length of the loop. Okay, so I'm not gonna finish the stitch just yet. I wanna make sure everybody understands this part. So I've got my length here. Okay, I'm gonna insert, set my hook on that part of this strand of my working yarn, get it out of the way, and then swoop it across this finger. So if you can see the fat part of my finger right there, see how I hit it every time, and then pull it through just like that. So I keep that length right there. One more time, I'm going to show you. Make sure I got my length so it's on my finger. The loop is touching the rubber part. Go in. The hook part is facing me. I'm going to set it on there and push it down to get it out of the way. Take the hook part of my hook and swoop it across the fat of my finger. Grab this yarn and pull it through. So I keep that same length. All right. So now to finish the stitch, what I do is I scissor my pointer finger and my middle finger, grab the loop, pull it off of my finger, and then automatically take my pointer finger, come down, pick up my working yarn, and once again, I'm making sure the yarn is at the rubber and the hook is at the tip of my finger. And then just yarn over, drop the loop, pull through 2. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go on to the next one. So you can see it's a little long, right? Sorry, a cat is in my polyfill bag. I shouldn't have said that. He's not in it. He's playing, like I have a little Ziploc bag that I keep instead of having the big old bag, and he's playing with a Ziploc bag. Okay, so I've got my the loop on my hook at the rubber, the tip at my finger, insert into the next stitch, the hook facing me, push it down out of the way, come over, swipe the fat of my finger, pull it through. Take the 2 fingers on my other hand, and I'm just going to pinch it, pull my finger out, and then automatically come down. Catch that working yarn, bring it up. Make sure it's relatively the same, the same length. So I've got the loops at the rubber part of my hook, and I'm going to let go, yarn over, pull through. Okay. And I'm going to repeat this a few times so everybody understands. So for those of you that comment on my videos that say, come on, quit yapping or whatever, it's like, then fast forward the video, because this is for everybody to understand. Nobody's getting left behind, okay? So again, loop on our hook at the rubber. So you can tell right now, see how it's a little too much on my finger. So I'm just going to let it loose a little bit. That was too much. And like I said, once you get going on this, it's not going to be exact every time, but it's close. It'll be close enough. So I'm measuring this to this on the rubber, touching my finger, go in, have the hook part facing you, push it down out of the way, swoop the fat of my finger, pull it through. Give us a little bit of a pull. 2 fingers on my other hand. I'm going to grab the loop, pull my finger out, and automatically come right down and pick up my working yarn again. And I can see I've got that good length. Yarn over, pull through 2. All right. Again, the loop on my hook at the rubber, tip of my hook at my finger. I got the length I need. Go in, the hook part facing me, set it on that part of that working yarn, get it out of the way. So you can tell right here, I've kind of got this, the strand coming through my hand. It's a little far back. It's not a huge problem. I could stop and readjust, but I'm just gonna, kind of reach it, make sure I swipe the fat of my finger. Oop, didn't mean to do that, dang it. So I will have to readjust because I messed it up. Swoop the fat on my finger, grab the yarn. And can you see that little loop right there? That happens occasionally with the slack in the yarn. All you have to do is pull that loop and it tightens it right up. Pinch it with your 2 fingers on the other hand. Pull out your finger from the loop. Come down, pick up your working yarn. Yarn over, pull through 2. So I'm going to stop and show you guys how they're relatively the same length. They're not going to be exact. There's no such thing. So you can see that last one that I messed up is a tad bit longer, but that is not going to bother anything. There, now you can see how they're relatively the same length. So that is the concept that we work to make the loop stitch. So the point of me starting that whole thing off was saying that if you don't hold your yarn that way, That's why I don't really know a way to show you how to work it if you hold the yarn any other way. So like off the top of my head, I can think I've seen one other person hold the yarn to the back of their hand. I'm not going to name names, but they hold it like this. So the only way that I could think, I mean, you do the same measurement, you know, loop on your hook at the rubber or your tape, tip of the hook at the tip of my finger, go in, push it down, and then go to the back, pull it through. Yeah, that would work, wouldn't it? Is that relatively the same length? Yeah, well, that would work. It's a little bit harder just because that's not how I hold my yarn, but I think that would work. Oh, wait a minute, how did I have that? No. Okay, to the back of my hand. Measure, insert, push it out of the way. That's the swoop to the back is a little bit of a pain. Pinch, pull off, yarn over, pull through two. Yeah, I think it can be done. All right, so I'm going to keep working this. I'm not going to go faster, but I'm going to show you, I'm going to keep, working the stitch on camera. So I'm measuring, insert, hook to me, push that out of the way, swipe the fat on my finger, grab my working yarn, pull it through. There was a little loop. Just kind of give that loop a little bit of a pull. Pinch, pull finger out, pull up, pull through two. Again, I measure, go in, push down, pull it out of the way, grab my working yarn, pull it through, yarn over, pull through two. So again, I measure, insert, set the hook on my working yarn, push it out of the way, swipe the fat of my finger, grab the new yarn, pull it through, pinch to pull the loop off my finger, and instantly go down and pick up the working yarn. I'm just real quick measuring, yarn over, pull through two. Measure, insert, set the hook down, get that loop out of the way. I'm a little far off, that's all right. Pull it through, pinch, take the loop off your finger, instantly go straight down and pick up your yarn again, yarn over to pull through. Measure, insert, push that out of the way, swoop the fat of your finger, grab that working yarn, pull through, pinch the loop, take your finger off, instantly go down, pick up that working yarn, pull through two. Go in, hook facing you, push that working yarn out of the way, swoop the fat of your finger, grab that working yarn, pull through, pinch the loop, pull your finger out, go right down, pick up that working yarn. It's a real quick measure. It doesn't have to be perfect or anything like that. All I'm doing is just keeping it this way. Yarn over, pull through two. And then when you're working that pull through two, you can drop that loop. It'll fall right off. Well, not fall, but I mean, drop it right out of your fingers. So quickly measure. I'm a little far away, but it's okay. It's not a big deal. Like I said, not every single one of these are going to be perfect. There, insert, hook facing you, lay it down right on that working yarn. Get it out of the way. Come over, swoop the fat of your finger, pull through two. Or pull through, I'm sorry, pull through the single or the double crochet. Pinch the loop, get my finger out, and go right down and pick up the yarn. Yarn over, pull through two. We've got one more. So I'm going to measure real fast, insert, push it down out of the way, swoop my finger, pull it through. See that loop that it created right there? Just pull that loop up a bit and it'll be fine. It pulls right out. Pinch the loop, pull your finger out, instantly go down, swoop up your yarn, measure, yarn over, pull through 2. So that is the loop stitch. And it is going to look like a big mess at first. And on this little swatch, it looks a little awkward because, you know, it's just my little swatch. But there is your loop stitch. And you can see some of them are a little longer, some of them are a tad bit shorter, and it's not a big deal. As long as, like I said, if it's relatively the same, relatively meaning close, not exact. Okay? And if something that may be, you know, just a good idea, just to work a square, just work chain 1, double into each stitch, all the way across into that single crochet, that very last one, chain 1, turn, loop stitch across, chain 1, turn, double crochet across, chain 1, turn, loop stitch across, and just practice and practice this loop stitch until you get it good, until you get good at it. If you want, you don't have to. But anyway, so to continue with our tree, we are going to work the second row of our 2-row repeat. So we're going to chain 1 and turn, and we are going to go, and so what you see right now is just single crochets with loop at the bottom, right? So these are not hard to work into because, you know, you can see it just like a normal single crochet. So what we're going to do for the second row of our 2-row repeat, row 4, we're going to work a double crochet decrease into the very first and the second loop stitch. So we're going to yarn over, go into that very first one, pull up a loop, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, go into that next single, or a single, it's a single crochet with a loop at the bottom, so but it's a loop stitch. Yarn over, pull up a loop, you have 4 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2. Now you have 3 loops, yarn over, pull through all 3. So what we are doing is decreasing at the beginning of row 4, and then we're going to double crochet into each single all the way across until the last 2 single crochet or loop stitches. I'm sorry. You guys know when I say single crochet, I mean the loop stitch. So go ahead and double crochet all the way across. All the way across to the last 2 single or loop stitch. Got 1 more. And we're going to decrease over these last 2. So we're going to do the exact same thing we did. Yarn over, go into the very next, pull up a loop, 3 loops, yarn over, pull through 2, 2 loops left, yarn over, go into the last, pull up a loop, 4 loops, yarn over, pull through 2, you got 3 loops left on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3. So you should now have 2 stitches less than what you started with. So for my little swatch, I chained 15. So any odd number, single crochet in the second chain all the way across. So that left me with 14 single. So I worked 14 loop stitches. So now I should have 12 double crochet across here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that is what is going to give us the triangle shape, okay? I said 12 double crochet. You know the decrease is at the end or counted. Anyway, all right, so that is row 4. So now you just repeat row 3 and 4, 3 and 4. So I'm going to go ahead and start row 3 again with you, the loop stitch. We chain 1, turn, loop stitch into the very first stitch. So again, I measure, insert, set it on there, push it out of the way, swoop the fat on my finger, grab that yarn, pull it through, give it a little bit of a pull, pinch the loop on my finger, pull my finger out, pick up my working yarn, single crochet. That was really long. I didn't measure right there if you guys caught that. Okay, so I'm going to work this a few more times and then I'm going to call it good on the loop stitch. So if you need to rewind the video and keep watching to learn it, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to bump that. You can, just rewind the video. And also at the bottom of your video, there is a little cog wheel. If you click that cog wheel, it'll say, I'm going to do it right now on my computer. It'll say playback speed. And then, click that and you can change how fast or how slow that playback speed is, okay? So, once again, measure, insert, set it on that working yarn, push it out of the way, swoop the fat of my finger, pull through. And then I, just give it a little bit of a pull because there is a little loop that creates right there. Pinch, pull my finger out, pull up my working yarn, measure real quick, it's good, pull through 2. So now I'm going to speed it up just a tad so you guys can see what it looks like working it faster. I'm not going to say fast, faster. Measure, insert, pull through. I can't keep up with myself. Saying what I'm doing, I can't keep up with myself. Ooh, I just about lost that one. Measure, insert, swoop. The reason it's sometimes if you notice that when I'm swiping this working yarn, if it's really far back and it's kind of hard to grab, it's because I need more slack and I haven't pulled it out yet. Okay, measure, insert, push it out of the way, swoop, pull through. There we go. And when you first learn this, yes, you are going to be adjusting several times the working yarn. It's just part of it. But after a while, you get the hang of it. You start noticing, hey, if I, adjust here or adjust here, it fits better in my hand and I like it that way, or, what have you. You'll start to notice certain little things that you like to do that will be more comfortable to you or get the right length that you want. I'm just showing you how I work mine. Very last one right there. Push it out of the way, swoop my working yarn, pull it through there, finger out, pull through 2. And there is my second row of loop stitch. Oh, I was like, why is that so big? That's my yarn that I'm crocheting with. Never mind. Anyway. All right, so you get that laid out right. You see? Adorable. Okay, so to move on to row 4, we chain 1 and turn, double crochet decrease into the very first, or over, I should say, the very first and the next loop stitch. I will say one thing that I did learn is that you have to really watch because the loops like this one wants to, stand up. So if you just give it a twist and a pull, it'll lay down better. Not perfect, but all right, double crochet across your work until the last 2 loop stitches. Go right across here. And then double crochet decrease over the last 2 stitches. And now you should have 2 less than you had before. So I had 12, so I should have 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And there you go. So then you repeat your loop stitch row, your decrease row, double crochet decrease row, loop stitch row, double crochet decrease row. And you repeat that and repeat that. And if you're making the tree, let me get mine over here. If you're making the tree like I am making, I pulled out a row and I didn't mean to do that. And I'm trying to get everything situated. Okay, so I have repeated that over and over and over again. And I am going to work my last row 4. So I chain 1, turn. So I'm going to decrease. This is so hard to see, and I apologize. I'm going to decrease over the first 2. This is why I made that, you know, my little sample piece in that bright green, because you cannot see this hunter green. All right, now I'm going to double crochet into each stitch across to the last 2. Double crochet decrease over the last 2. All right, and you should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So once you've repeated 3 and 4, 3 and 4, I want you to end on row 4 with 6 stitches left. And what we're going to do is we're going to work a little solid piece that we're going to glue our star on. If you want the star, you don't have to make the star. All right, so we did that. So we are going to chain 1 and turn, and all we're going to do for this row is single crochet right across. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Chain 1 and turn. Go ahead and decrease over the first 2. Double crochet into the next 2. Oops, 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 oops. I split that. Double crochet into the next 2. Decrease over the last 2. And the last row, chain 1 and turn. You should have 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches. All we're going to do is single crochet across those 4. Single into that decrease, next 2 double, single crochet in that decrease, just like that. And now what we're going to do to finish off the tree, we are going to chain a long chain and then bring it back and slip stitch into this decrease right here for a hanger. So I'm going to let you guys decide how long you want your hanger to be. Because, you know, we've got all this room for all this flat space for our star, so you don't need to put a lot of length in your chain for whatever you're going to hang this off of for your star. So what I'm thinking is, so like for instance, if you are going to hang this on a doorknob, you know, let's say, you know, if you had your star at the tip of your tree and you hang on a doorknob, the doorknob's going to push your star out, right? So you don't have to calculate that length for the star. You know, you can just chain it however you want. So I'm going to actually hang mine on the wall, probably on just a nail or a push pin or something. So mine doesn't have to be too long, but I do want to give it a little bit of length. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So I'm going to stop, bring that down, and see how long that is. I'm going to go to 20. So that was 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. All right, so I'm going to chain 20. I'm going to go ahead and turn my work and right into that that decrease at the end of the row. Are you kidding? Come on. Oh, there I got slip stitch, chain 1, pull up a loop, and cut. There is my little hanger. My little hanger for the top of my tree. And our tree, for the most part, is done. So mine does have a tad bit of like a bend in it. Don't worry about that. Once you hang this, it comes right out. So like if I just give it a bit of a tug, it's not going to bother anything. Like I said, once it's hung with the star and the little bulbs on it, it's going to look great. Okay, so I am going to go ahead and stop my video. I'm going to weave in this end, and I'm going to weave in this end. And when I come back, I am going to show you guys how I make the little star. So this is I bumped my camera, I'm sorry. So this is the little star I made. It's 2 stars, and then I just stitched it together. And then we will put it right here. And there you go. Okay, so I'm going to get my ends weaved in, and when I come back, we're going to make our star. So I will be right back. Okay, so for my star, I am going down to a 3.25 millimeter hook. You don't have to. I wanted mine to be a tad bit smaller than, using a 4 millimeter hook. But the star that I made with the 4 millimeter hook looked perfectly fine on my tree. I tested it and I showed my husband, and he's like, I like that. It's, it's a good size difference. But I was like, I think I can do a little bit better. So I decided to go down to a 3.25. So you don't have to use the 3.25. You can use the 4 millimeter and it's going to look just as fine. I just wanted mine to be a bit tighter. So you guys use whichever hook you want to. And we are going to start with a slip knot on our hook. Plenty of tail to weave in. I lost that. I got tangled up in my yarn. Slip knot, plenty of tail, and we are going to start with a chain of 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Come down, slip stitch into that very first chain to create a ring. I get my fingertips in there. Finish the slip stitch, chain 1, and I'm going to stop. Take this tail, see how big that chain is that we just slip stitched into. Pull that to tighten it, and then I'll be working these stitches around my tail, so I'm just going to hold on to that with the ring. Okay, so for row 1, we are going to, I was going to say chain 1, but we already did that. We are going to work a 3 double crochet cluster. So we're going to yarn over, go into the ring, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, go back in there, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, go back in there, pull through up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and you should have 4 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through all 4. And that's your 3 double crochet cluster. So we're going to chain 3 and go right back in there with another 3 double crochet cluster. So you yarn over, go in, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, go in, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over one more time, go in, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. 4 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 4. Chain 3. All right, and that is what we're going to repeat until you have 5 chain 3 chain 3s. So the 5th chain 3 is going to be the last thing you work. So, sorry, I just lost my train of thought there for a second. So we have 1, and then here's the second. We need 5. So we're going to work the 3 double crochet cluster again. 1, 2, and here is the 3rd. 4 loops on my hook, yarn over, pull through all 4, chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Yarn over, go in, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, go in, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. One more time, and I'm getting tangled up. Go in, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. 4 loops, yarn over, pull through all 4. Chain 3. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. So yarn over, go in, pull up a loop. So yarn over, go in, pull up a loop, pull through 2. Yarn over, go in, pull up a loop, pull through 2, 4 loops, yarn over, pull through all 4, chain 3. Now let's count 1, 2, 3, 4. There's our 5th chain 3. So now we are going to come down and we're going to slip stitch to the top of that first cluster. So you can see the top of the stitch right here, the long, you know, the normal part of the top of the stitch. See how it's a little bit longer? That's the top of that cluster. So we're going to go right in there. Make sure you get just the 2 loops and not anything else. Go right in there and pull through. Go ahead and finish that slip stitch just like that. You can go ahead and pull your tail to tighten up the center of that star. Okay, so now we're just going to go right into that next chain 3 space and slip stitch again. All we're doing is moving over. Chain 1, and for round 2 we're going to work 3 double crochet, chain 3, 3 double crochet, all into the chain 3 space that we're just slip stitched into, okay? So slip stitch in there, chain 1, 3 double, 1, 2, 3, chain 3, and then scooch that over a bit, go right back in there with 3 double. 1, 2, 3, I need slack. Okay, so jump straight to that next chain 3 space, 3 double, chain 3, 3 double. And we are going to work that for each of the chain 3 spaces. 3 double, chain 3, right back in there with 3 double. 1, I keep splitting this yarn. 2, 3, jump to the next chain 3 space, 3 double, chain 3, 3 double. So I'm going to let you guys work that off camera, and I'm going to finish up this one, and then straight into that last chain 3 space, I'll work my 3 double, chain 3, 3 double, and then I'll come back, okay? So I will get that done and be right back. Okay, so I worked that around, and I'm going to slip stitch right into that very first double crochet right there. Right in there. And slip stitch. Okay, so the last round, we are going to slip stitch right into that very next double crochet. And I want to take just a second to explain why we did that. So for our star, we have our peaks and then our little valley. Our peak and then our valley. Well, to keep that valley going as we work our pattern, we skip 2 double crochet in the middle. See right there, the 2 double that we skipped? Well, the double crochet that we slip stitched into to finish round 2 is actually one of the double crochets that we need to skip. So to skip it, we just slip stitch to the next. So that one's already done. All right, so chain 1, double crochet right back into that same double that you just slip stitched into. Double crochet into that next double. Into the chain 3 space, we're going to work 3 double, chain 4, 3 double. 1, 2, 3, oop, I did 4. 3 double, scooch it over, chain 4, and I'm going to do it a little tight. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Come right back in with your 3 double. 1, 2, 3. And the reason we do 4 is because it gives us a bit more of a point for the top of that star, or for each of the points of the star, than just a chain 3. That chain 4 gives us a bit more of a point, like that. All right, so now we are going to work 1 double into the next 2 double crochet. So you can tell the top of this, like if we follow this post, I'm trying to find something to point with. If we look at these 3 doubles right here, right? And we follow the post of this first double up, you can barely see the top of that double crochet because we just packed so many stitches in that chain 3, right? And it kind of slides over the top of that double. So if you take your hook, follow the top of that post, and just push it through, right there's the top of that double crochet. Or, you know, you could just push it out of the way. Okay, so we're going to double into the very first double and that middle double crochet. And we're going to skip the next 2, double into the next, double into the next, and then we're to our next chain 3. So we're going to work the 3 double, chain 4, 3 double. Scooch those out of the way. Go right back in there with 3 double. Double into the very next double crochet. Just follow the post up, push it in the top. 1 and 2. Skip the next 2, double into the next, and into the next double, and we're to the next chain 3. All right, so I'm going to let you guys finish that off camera, and you can see how those points are so nice and pointy. Especially that one. That one looks good. Okay, so I'm going to let you guys work the 2 double, get to your chain 3 space, and we're going to work 3 double, chain 4, 3 double, double into the next, double into the next, skip 2, double into the next, double into the next, into the next chain 3, 3 double, chain 4, 3 double. Go ahead and repeat that around, and I will meet you at this last chain 3 space, okay? All right, I will be right back. All right, so I have repeated that around, and now I'm going to double into the next double, double into the very next double, and skip the last and just go straight to the very first double crochet and slip stitch. Chain 1 and pull up a loop, and your star is done. And look how nice and pointy those peaks are. Perfect. All right, so I am going to go ahead and cut. Now you can do just this, weave in your ends, and be good with 1 star at the top of your tree. But I actually made another one and then just stitched them together, just, I mean, in and out, in and out, in and out for each double and each chain. Skip the 2 in the valley, and then just go to the next and just in and out, sewed them together. You can do whichever one you want. You just make another star the exact same, but at the end of the star have a real long tail, so you can use that tail to sew the 2 stars together. Sandwich them with the wrong sides together, sew it together, and there you go. So I'm going to leave that up to you guys. You can either do 1 star, make another star, however you want to do it. And yeah, so get your star done, get your ends weaved in, come back, and we are going to do one more final thing on our tree. So I will be right back. Okay, so I've got my star ready, my tree is ready. What we're going to do now is mark off stitches on our chain, because we're going to make a little base for our tree. So what I want you guys to do is lay your tree face up, come to the bottom, and I want you to count over 12 chains, mark that 12th, and on this side, 12 chains, mark that 12th. So it's so hard to see with this yarn, but you got your corner, and then can you see if I can hold this anyway, get these loops out of the way. All right, so we've got our corner right here. That's where I weaved in my end. So that's 1, and then see these loops right here? Here, 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 here. Count over and mark that 12th loop. And then do the same thing on this side. Now on this side, this doesn't have our beginning slip stitch. The first chain is just kind of laying to the side. So if you bring it over, there's 1, and then see the little loops right here? Here, 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 here. Count over and mark that 12th. So you should have, and if you're off 1 or 2, it's not a huge deal, but you should have 12, 12, that's 24, and then 23. Don't count the ones you got marked, and then 23 in the middle. So that's 12 and 12 is 24. 24 plus 23 is 47, which is the beginning chain we started with. Like I said, if it's not 100% correct, it's not going to hurt a thing. But go ahead and get a slip knot on your hook. And of course, make sure you got plenty of tail to weave in. And what we're going to do is we're going to take our tree and turn it upside down. And we're going to attach into this chain with a slip stitch. So I'm going to go, I'm sorry about my camera. I'm going to go right in there. I'm going to give this a tug actually so I don't lose that. And I'm going to go right in. Now I'm going around both loops from the chain. So the stitch that we worked in row 1 is in 1 loop of the chain, and we have 2 loops remaining. So I'm working around both of the loops that are remaining. Slip stitch, chain 1, and then I'm going to go ahead and pull this tail to the back to tighten that slip stitch, and we're going to go right back in there with a single crochet. And now all we're going to do is single crochet into each of the remaining loops of our chain all the way across. So if I counted this right, there should be 23. Don't lose your marked stitch over here. And you can see the remaining, the remaining loops of this chain. Just see all the holes in there. Here, well, I can't point with my finger. Right there, there, there. See all those little bitty holes? That's our remaining loops from the beginning chain. And once you put your hook in there, they do get bigger. And I'm, get in there. I just realized I messed up. I wasn't supposed to attach into the one I had marked with the needle. I was supposed to go one to the inside. That's okay. No big deal. It's not going to hurt anything. I will just go ahead and work into the one marked on this one. So my count would be 11, 11, and then trying to do math in my head. 11 and 11 is 22, 5. So I should have 25 single crochet right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Okay, so if you did like I said to do, where you didn't work into the chain that I had marked, or that we had marked, you would have 23, 12, and 12. 12 not worked, 23 worked, 12 not worked. But if you did what I did, you will have 25 single crochet, 11, and 11. It's all right. It's not going to hurt anything. I just didn't do what I said to do. I did the opposite. All right, so once you've got that established, we're going to chain 1 and turn. And we're going to go ahead and double crochet across each of these singles. Oops, I bumped my camera. I'm sorry. Just go ahead and work a double into each of those singles. So I'm going to go ahead and work this across and not make you guys watch me do this. And I'll be right back. Alrighty, so I have worked my double crochets all the way across. I got one more to work into with a cat hair. Double crochet into that last single, chain 1, turn your work, and we are going to work another row of double crochet. So double crochet into that very first double, and then double crochet into each double all the way across. Again, I'm not going to make you watch me do this, so I'm going to get mine done real quick and I will be right back. All right, I've worked that across and into the very last double right there. I'm going to go ahead and work my last double, chain 1, turn our work, and all we're going to do for this last round is 1 single crochet into each double. So single into that first and work 1 single into each of the doubles all the way across, and I will meet you at the end. Okay, I'm back and I've worked that all across into my last double right here. I am going to work my last single crochet, chain 1, pull up a loop, and cut. There we go. So the actual crocheting part of our tree is done. Now all we're going to do is decorate. So I'm going to stop my video, get these ends weaved in, and I want to tell you guys, if you have a bit of a warp, like I'm just going to make mine bad. If you have a bit of a warp in the base or just in your tree, you can, give it a good tug, get it to lay the way you want to, and if it's still not going the way you want it to, take your iron and put it on the steam setting and just barely on the back, don't do it on the front, okay? On the back of your tree, just hit it with a little bit of steam and then say, hey, I want you to lay like this. Give it a little bit of a pull and it'll lay, nice and straight and flat. Do be careful, because if you get too much steam, these stitches are going to turn to just, they're going to turn really soft and when you pull them, it'll distort way more than you want it to, okay? So just easily, just psh, psh, with your steam and be done, okay? I'm okay with just giving mine a good pull and saying, hey, I want you to go this way, and it lay that way, all right? So like I said, get my ends weaved in, and we are going to decorate. I will be right back. Okay, I am back, and I've got all my ends weaved in. Now what we want to do is we want to take our tree, and I'm going to go through here, and I'm going to go through like each row. Let me start from the bottom. Each row of the loop stitch, and I'm going to get these loops to lay down. So some of them will be laying up and some sideways and yada yada. I'm just going to run my finger through this space and separate, because I want these to lay like this, and then go to the next row and then get them to lay this way. the reason we're doing this is because we want, you know, somewhat of a decent base to hot glue our little pom-poms on, right? So when I go to, so like up here where I haven't done it, like where it's all shaggy, if I go to hot glue pom-poms on there, I'm going to just be going on one little strand and it'll look funny. So I'm going to go through here and lay all these down. And they're not going to be perfect. I mean, I realize that. I've got loops inside of loops. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this off camera, just getting these to lay down the way I need them to. And yeah, I will be right back. See the difference? Well, I don't even know. I can't even see. This color in my camera does not work good. All right, I will pause this and I'm going to be right back. Okay, so I am back and I've got all these loops laid nice and flat and pretty. And oh man, you guys, this is so pretty. I love this. So I'm first going to start, I'm just going to go ahead and hot glue my star down. And I want to have, so I know that whenever I made this, there's a little slip knot that I messed up on. So I'm going to put that to the back, to the bottom of my star. And make sure it's nice and centered. Which this is a little hard to do because I need to get past my camera and I can't. Alright, so I am going to eyeball this and hot glue this. Oh, can I move you? Oh no, hold on just a second. I'm sorry. Right there. There we go. So now you can see what I'm doing. So I'm going to go around this middle and down the solid part with a little bit of hot glue. Right down there. Just like that. And then center that. If you guys hear that, that's Churchy snoring in the background. So there is the top of my tree. So I'm going to let that cool off. And now, you guys are going to laugh, but this is the, sorry for the sniffles. This is the best way that I have come up with to do the placement of my little pom-poms for the lights everywhere. So what I did was I took my package of pom-poms and I just dumped them all out and I picked out the ones I didn't want. So for mine, the bigger ones I didn't want, and then I don't want any of the black ones. And then I noticed that there's a size difference between the small and there's an even smaller. And so I picked out the little bit bigger ones. So I should have a nice pile of all the same size. Like I can instantly see the green one at the bottom right here looks a little bit bigger than the rest of them. I'm gonna say it's all right, no big deal. Okay, so once I've got all those picked out, what I'm gonna do is just sprinkle these over the top and then come back and kind of I dropped one. Pick them off one by one. Well, I shouldn't say pick them off one by one, but just set them the way I want. So it's sporadic on one hand, but yet I don't want, like, so instantly what I'm noticing is there's, well, let me get it on camera. Can you see? There we go. Now you can see it. See all the orange, and then there's a lot of purple and blue and green up here. So what I'll do is just add a few down here. I don't want orange right on top of orange or purple right on top of purple. So let's go, just add a yellow right there. So that's what I just, start my base off with. Just sprinkle them sporadically and go from there. Just adjust them as I want. I don't want a bunch in one area and a little bit in another area. I wonder if you guys can hear Churchy snoring. Okay, so that's an awful lot of purple. Let's do another yellow here. How about okay, I am going to, so I'm basically what I'm doing is just showing you guys how I'm, you know, making this very sporadic, like Christmas lights. So I am actually going to stand up and I'm going to stand over the top of this and just pick and adjust as I want. I'm not going to make you guys watch me do that. So once again, I'm going to stop my video. I'm going to stand up and get this all nice in order that I, you know, in the pretty sporadic color that I want. And when I come back, I'm going to show you guys how I'm going to hot glue these on. Okay, so once again, I'm going to stop my video and I will be right back. Okay, so I'm standing over the top of my tree and I think I've got it sporadic enough that I'm happy with it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to start hot gluing all of these on. And I want to show you a little trick so you don't have a strand of hot glue. So I'm going to take my pom-pom and put a little bitty dot and then bring it around it so then it cuts off that the stretch of the glue. If you understand what I'm trying to say. Here, I'll show you on one of my spares what I'm talking about. So if you don't do the swirl around it, if I just put it here and brought it off, see the line of glue? It's not what we want. So if you wrap it, it'll cut it off on the top of that glue and then you can just poke it on there. Okay? So I am not going to make you watch me do all these. So I'm going to get this done off camera and then we are going to actually be done with the tree. So I got a lot of hot gluing done, or to do, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I hot glued all of my pom-poms on, and the big trick is when you pick up your tree, did you forget any? I did forget a few, so I had to go back and glue them. And I did pick off some hot glue strands, but that is it, guys. Oh, I'm so happy. This is awesome. Thank you guys for watching. I have a piece of cheese on my finger. Sorry. I ate lunch. I hope you guys enjoyed my tutorial. Hit that thumbs up if you did. Subscribe if you haven't so you don't miss what's next. And if you're watching this on Christmas Day that I post it, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.